Hi guys, just a quick disclaimer before this one. I apologise for the audio issues. With the current situation, they're kind of hard to get parts to resolve, so I apologise for that. In regard to the game itself, we're talking about a mobile game chock full of microtransactions. I talk a lot about that. I know there are better ways to optimise my ship, and I am in no means a veteran, but I'm just talking about my experience. If that bothers you, you don't have to listen. If you do want to listen, feel free. Hello everyone, I'm Nick from nextstepnick.com, and today we're going to play a bit of Pixel Starships. So as you can see here, I've got my lovely ship. I was with the Federation, which I thought would be very Star Trek-esque. Doesn't seem to be that way, to be honest. But thought I'd have a bit of a play, see how we got on. I did initially record an entire sort of 45-minute Let's Play where I really got to grips with things. And then it turned out that it had bugged out and I didn't get any recording, so that was fun. So what we're doing is we're going to be playing a little bit from where I am now, talking about my experiences with the game, seeing what I think of it really. Now, I'm going to be honest, I was kind of hoping for something that was very similar to the likes of things like, you know, FTL, those kind of games. So I was hoping for the kind of thing where you kind of had these different choices and decisions that you had to make in regard to strategy, and also things like, you know, your ethical choices as to what you think works and what you think doesn't. Those kind of ideas, you know. I really like the idea of that, but I'm going to be honest, I've had a look into the game since playing it initially because I didn't actually know, but the game itself was kickstarted and it was initially on mobiles. That means that it is chock full of different microtransactions, and I can't really get behind that. I find it really difficult to do. As you can see, there are countdown timers. You can pay money to actually speed up. There are different resources, multiple different resources that, yeah, you can sit here and click away as much as you want, but if you want to buy a ton of it, then you can do that. You just pay real money. Likewise, you can go into places like the shop and the bank. You can buy yourself nice advantages over other people here. You can buy different things like that. And I find, like here, allow access to recruit better crew. Your crew directly impacts how you play. I can't really get behind that. The problem is I know that it's a game that potentially doesn't have that paywall to get into, and I totally understand that, but at the same time, it's a kickstarted game as well, so there's been funding from people outside to actually produce the game. I'd much rather you spend that energy that you've used on getting these pay-to-win microtransactions and actually instead use those kind of things to really just sell the game for a normal price. I'm absolutely fine to pay, like I did with FTL, to be honest. I'm happy to pay £10, £20 for a good, nicely developed game with some really interesting storylines and some really fun gameplay loops. I mean, FTL, when you look at it on paper, it's, you know, it's not hugely complex, it's not ridiculously over the top. In regard to gameplay and replayability, there's a lot of RNG involved, but at the same time, I can get into that. Whereas with this, it just puts me off. You know, I don't want to sit here for hours clicking on these, and if I am sitting here for hours, I don't want to be listening to this soundtrack the whole time. I mean, have a listen to this. Say if I'm here clicking on these resources for a nice 25 minutes, if we have a listen, I'll just be quiet for a minute. It's just that. It's just that sound effects, just over and over again. Just those little sound effects, that clicking, and that music just repeated over and over again. And I know what people will say is, oh, you can mute that. But then why would you want to get rid of those elements of your game? Now, in regard to the game itself, you're building up your ship and upgrading. You also have people on your ship that you can level up and upgrade as time goes on. So you can do things like teach them. You can get them different levels. You can equip them with different items and different abilities. They all have different stats as well in regard to what they interact with. So, for example, you've got gunners, you've got people that can man the bridge, that kind of thing. You can buy extra crew. You can buy all different sorts of things like that, and you know, you can get different weapons, different resources, different ships. But the problem is like here, that ship will cost me 6k, for example. So I could literally, I can't do this one here because I haven't unlocked the research yet, but say if I wanted a better ship, I can then use my minerals, but if I can't afford it, I can use real money. Yes. Now, if it wasn't for the fact that I've got these Starbucks, because I did receive this game for free from the developer, and I do appreciate that. I did receive a code, and that included quite a lot of these. But if I didn't have these bucks, I would have to wait 2 hours and 59 minutes. Which, yeah, I'm not behind that. if you're making people actively go away from your game for long periods of time, something's gone wrong, you know? And say if, for example, well, 2 hours is a long time. Oh look, I can pay. Oh, and now it's quicker. So if I'm in the mood of just putting loads of money into this, I can just upgrade to the nicest stuff really, really fast. And the problem with that is it removes any kind of impact of working really hard to unlock stuff. I feel like I'd much rather there be a little pay gate where you pay sort of £10, £20 for the game, and then you access this interesting title full of stuff. I mean, here, for example, we now have the ability to take more missions. We have all these different things we can potentially do, and there are missions that seem quite interesting, but at the same time, what's the point of getting invested? I can just buy upgrades. I would like to see more of this interesting stuff where you've got these multiple choices. So, here we go, a small meteorite passes nearby, promises of a decent haul. Unfortunately, it seems a grey saucer has the same fault. Well, let's engage. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Greys don't react immediately to your presence, and you hope for a moment you might avoid a fight. Alas, your mining lasers ignite, and the grey ship enters an attack position. Okay. So, let's do this. You're going to see a battle now, and I think there's some definite potential here. It's very FTL inspired, and you can see that straight away. So, if we attack, you'll be able to see the FTL elements. I quite like the way that they've done things like this. I'd like to be able to see both ships at the same time, but I feel like there's, you know, there's that opportunity to have some real interesting stuff here. But like, if the ship is better equipped than yours, the ship is better equipped than yours. That's literally it, you know, you can't do a lot about it. I mean, now I think we're going to get absolutely obliterated because the ship looks better than ours. So let's start hitting the shields here. We'll start seeing if we can't get through that. So one of your rooms are taking damage. You can drag through to repair it. Let's keep firing on their shield, shall we? Let's go back. So we've had one of our rooms destroyed. Oh, it's our shield. So let's put our guy from the bridge. Oh, no path to get there. Oh. Yeah, we might die here, guys, because now we have no power. But that's the thing, is if you engage with a ship that's better than yours, then you basically die. I mean, now, I've just had a room destroyed in one shot, and there's not a lot I can do. So what do we decide to do? Well, I'm guessing we'll probably pay some more money, and then we'll be able to deal with these problems. That's the thing, is it's so egregious in regard to payment. You get absolutely bombarded by enemies of a higher level than you, and you know, what can you do? I mean, like now, for example, I just have to basically watch until I'm destroyed. And the problem is that it's so... You can tell that this is purely... There have been quite a few fights where I've got into these fights, I've been absolutely destroyed, it doesn't seem to take any kind of... I don't know, it doesn't seem to take into account the ship you're flying or the level you're at or what you've got. You tend to just get steamrolled by higher opponents. And that's a very stereotypical thing that happens in games like this to encourage you to buy stuff. That's how it comes across. Optimise your rooms and try again. Okay. And it happens quite a lot, these kind of things. Don't get me wrong, I've had a few fights that I've won, but if you're going to lose, you're going to lose, basically. And then from there on in, you basically get encouraged to pay more money. Love it. Not really, no. Email feedback, well, we can do that later. I'm more than happy to send that. But it's a case of just... Oh right, well, they had 2 high-level mining lasers. Shall we build 2 high-level mining lasers? Let's do that. Weapons. Let's build another mining laser then. Okay, we'll pop that in. Oh, we haven't got the right number of minerals. We'd have to wait for a long time. We'll buy them, I guess. Well, there's we're level 2. So we'll rush this. And then, okay, we'll upgrade it. Okay. Oh, it's going to cost 250 crystals. Okay, we'll just buy them. There we go. Oh, there's a wait time. That's alright, it's only a short wait time. So what we'll do is we'll just buy an upgrade. And what I think also happened was our shields were too low, maybe. Let's upgrade them. 2,000? Yeah, pay real money, get that done. Do you see what I mean? There's that argument there of, okay, someone's a little bit better than us, they've got better stuff than us, just pour real world money into it. And that's the problem with games like this, I think, is that it gets rid of the whole sort of reward. You know, you don't feel like you're gaining anything. I can just pay real money and get upgrades. If I was in the actual game, of course I wouldn't be getting these upgrades, I wouldn't be interested. There are multiple different currencies here to encourage you to pay. I think that's the problem, is that even when you say, okay, there are different things, you know, different ways of getting the currency, you can sit here and click. But I mean, even here, when I'm clicking, that's going up by 2 each time. That's going up by 1. And then you think, if we upgrade our mining laser, for example, how much does it take? Oh, 2,000. Oh. And don't get me wrong, I know this stuff is high-end, but at the same time, you know, it's just that it's put in there on purpose to make you basically want to upgrade, to want to pay that real money, to just get these things constructed. And then when you do, you're kind of at that point where you've got this amazing starship that can destroy other people. And there's also a PvP element in this game, which means, of course, you're more likely to put real-world money in to increase your stuff, because you're fighting against other players at certain points. So I think that's the problem with this. I think it's got some really interesting ideas. It's just executed in kind of what I would call a bit of an egregious way, especially when you think there's a Kickstarter behind this as well. I think I would like to see, like I say, maybe a little bit of a paywall to actually getting in, but then at the same time having a game that's more fleshed out. Maybe, you know, you can potentially do things with cosmetics and stuff like that, but when it's literally a case of giving you in-game advantages, I just think it's a little bit, yeah, I just can't really get behind it. I mean, now, for example, let's just level stuff up, shall we? We're having problems with power, well, we'll just pay money to get the upgrades, shall we? There we go. So now when we have a problem, we'll be well equipped. It's a shame because it's got some really interesting premises to it. I really like some of the things it's doing. And it's got a really nice way in regard to its missions, where you can actually go on missions and patrol. But I mean, a really good example was early on, I did one of these patrols of the solar system, level 1 to 3. I patrolled a certain area, got attacked by someone, which didn't make any sort of narrative sense, because they were part of the Federation as well. Got immediately destroyed, and then just got told, yeah, you know, your ship's not good enough. And it was a case of just knocking you down to get you invested, to make you feel like you need to pay money to upgrade. And I find it hard to engage with stuff like this, you know? Like, I think that's the problem, is I feel like there's some real talent here when it comes to what they're doing. I just can't get behind the paywalls, you know? Just a little bit of a pay to actually play would be fine, but pay to win is completely different. Even if it was just cosmetics, like I say, it would be less egregious. But let's have a patrol. Let's patrol the lunar settlements. I think that's the thing that kind of ruins it for me, is the narrative itself. Sorry, just having a drink there. The narrative itself can be interesting at certain points. So, you know, we've got a smuggler's hideout. The smugglers attempt to silence you. So as you can see, if this is a ship that's far better than mine, I haven't had that chance. Oh, I can surrender, but this is an away mission. Okay, haven't done one of these yet, to be honest. Select crew to start. Okay. I've not actually done one of these. Let's give it a go. Waves left. Okay. Okay, looks like it's a turn-based affair. Let's do this. Okay, cool. Let's attack. Let's do them. Cool. So, you know, it's one of those things where I feel like there's a lot of interesting elements here. I mean, even here, this is kind of an interesting, fun little element to have. But I just wish that... Pardon me, I'm really gassy now. But I think it's a really interesting element to have in the game. It's just, I would like to see it kind of grow a bit, rather than, you know, you just get absolutely steamrolled when it comes to certain... Oh, blimey, that was quick. Sometimes you win, sometimes you get steamrolled, and it's a case of, I'd like to see more in this. I'd like to see you really indulge these elements. If you grew these areas a bit, I think it would definitely be worth paying to play. Search the hideout for loot. Okay. But I know people might think I'm being really harsh and I'm just harping on about this one element, but I feel like it's a really important element to mention, you know? It's one thing to be on mobile, and even then I don't really agree with it. It's another thing to be on PC and having these kind of elements, you know? I mean, here's a good example. Say when we've got crews, for example, we can buy a really nice crew member there for 3.7 thousand, and then that ship will slowly pass by, and you never know if you'll see them again, so might as well buy them. But no, we're not going to buy them. But that's what I mean, is there's those elements there that I know are kind of there. You know, you've seen them enough by this point to kind of know that they're here to encourage those sort of pay-to-win mechanics. I'm just not behind that. I just can't get behind that. So let's try another mission. Let's go on a... Let's see, Federation Apprentice. So this is the actual story-style missions. I say story. Let's have a go. Defeat the pirate captain to save the Federation outpost. Okay. We've not had any real backstory or writing in regard to this either. We've had a little bit, a couple of missions, but, you know, I'd like to see more of this rather than the same amount of effort going into this would be great. The sharp stink of gunfire greets you as you sprint down the ramp. Station's corridors are choked with bodies, Pirate Federation alike. You emerge onto the main deck and watch in horror as the pirate leader dispatches the lieutenant. He turns to you with a wicked grin, levelling his blaster. Okay. Well now, what have we here? That's amazing. And I wonder who the influence was for the naming. I like the mechanical bird though. What have we here? I'm guessing this is another one of those battles. I've never actually had one of them, and then two come along at the same time. It looks like as well our guys might be a little bit weak. Okay, let's do this. I feel like his sprite doesn't look like him. But that's alright. Hooray! Squish. I find it kind of creepy the legs get left behind as well. New members have joined your crew. Okay. You managed to save just when station in a nick of time. However, the surprise attack has left the station utterly devastated. Oh no. Final step to was fruitful as you discovered the trainee medic locked in the toilet. All in all, too egregious. Way too egregious with the payment models. I can't get behind it. If it's for you and you're okay with this, fine. You know, it's all entirely up to you, but if you're a bit like me, then this might not be for you. There's a lot of paywalls in regard to getting into it. There's a lot of different things you'd have to do. You have to either donate a tremendous amount of time to keep up with people that are paying real money, or pay loads of real money. So it's a shame. It's a shame. I think this kind of thing could be really great if they didn't do that. But thank you very much for tuning in, everyone. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe if you have enjoyed this video, and hopefully I'll catch you again very, very soon.